Okay, goofing around aside, now it's time to start. This is Operation 6 Feet Under. And that being said, it's time to start. So Insurgents set up a pretty standard defense here. Let's get the extra round to see where they're at. Pretty widespread across the map and across the A objective here. Security getting some first initial kills out. Starting to see where that's going to be at. Smoke as well to help their coverage for security perhaps, but Insurgents a little bit of coverage themselves. It's a little bit close to their side, so a little bit favoring of Insurgents in some ways, but security doing a good job as well. As we see the push starting on the left side, they're starting to get through here. Got some enemies nearby to try and stop that coverage, but let's see what happens here following Peter Griffin TV starting out with. Let's see where they opt to go. Going to run through. Two enemies in that close side there. A lot of kills coming in from Insurgents for this first wave here of security. Looking good for the defenders. Attackers are starting to get close, but not quite there yet. See them tagging up on the middle push here. With Insurgent line here. So far getting some big kills in here towards Alpha. The problem is you got to get kills on the top side. Yep, there it is. Mai and Moo on the top side. Getting those kills on those players in the stairs. Not going to get much further than that for the first initial wave here. Not bad for the defenders. A couple down, but not too many out. So there's no wave spawn either for the Insurgent defenders. So attackers, bit of a misfield there. There is one player on the outside here, way outside here. There's another player as well, playing on the outskirts of the map, if you will. Again, this map is all within the bounds of the level. Even out here is still within the bounds. So it's a very, very widespread push you can do. Move off of Peter Griffin to follow a droid, one of the competitive firefight players. Someone with a strong kill potential. Let's go ahead and see what happens here. Setting up, trying to look for players to the smoke. Not going to see much. They called in mortars a little early on for this total map control, but it may work to get it softened up. The thing is, Outskirts has a lot of big buildings, and they can hide in those buildings. Very, very effective. So a little less effective for mortars than you would see on other more open maps, but it can still be effective nonetheless. You can see them making that push up here. Couple kills for the attackers. Defenders doing a good job holding, but they are now beginning to capture. However, that capture is slow in progress. So we're trying to hold on to the objective. Taking some shots close. There's Nikolai getting the kill there. The remaining defender. Defenders are close, but they're actually losing pretty well. Well, security's doing a good job taking out the defenders, and that's actually the A objective almost all the way gone now. Only 2 remaining defenders alive at the objective. One holding on for dear life here. The killer does get some kills though, and hopefully we can get that player caught in time. We can get over to him. Leading position. Punishing on the outside here. Killdozer, one of the last 2 remaining, trying to get on to save it. Victor gets a nade though, staying alive. A being capped up pretty quick though. Attackers doing a good job of taking his alpha control, clearing out the area here. Only 3 waves. Still plenty of time even if they do lose it, but they're going to capture this A objective pretty quick. Here's a stack up, and there's the first capture. Pretty quick. Pretty quick, I gotta say so myself. So defender's going to have to be pushed back to the backside of the next objective here. That is all the way over here. So attackers, are they going to use that momentum quick? We see one player running already quick out there. Zero going to get that shot in the back, though, into Chime. And now we see Insurgents being pushed back. And it's to balance the map out so people aren't camping near Alpha still. There we go. Zero is trying to stay alive here. He's kind of playing to the edge here. The problem is he is going to be shot in the side there by Bled, unfortunately. That is how it goes when you try to play close to the sides there. Without playing in a sneaky spot, you're going to have a tough time. Charo, despite having no hands, he can still get the kills. Oh no, Goosex does get that kill. Goosex is getting the kill. Okay. Killdozer running around now. Getting one pick on Bluey, and Victor taking out Peter Griffin. We see him running out of Alpha in the beginning. We see bomber drones called out by Insurgents to stop the push from happening just as quickly. Although they can be very effective. Let's go ahead and get the outside view. See where they're coming in from. Out in the skies. Where are they landing? Oh! Unfortunately, they called the explosive drones on the actual building itself. Unfortunately, these buildings are very tall, so it's not going to be very effective. If you got them on the edges of the building, that would be a little more effective, but easier said than done when it comes to calls for that position there. One wave down for Insurgents, but still plenty of waves for both sides, so this is going to be a long battle here. If you look at the overall sight lines, where this combat is at, we see them kind of in this building here. They're not making any fast pushes just yet. They're slowly clearing things out, looking for an open place to play and to push through. There is one defender here with not a lot of coverage, hiding in plain sight, as they say. A very, very risky play. There is a attacker out here that could go for the push here. Going out to play safe. Charo going to sneak around with that silence deagle. That is their kind of deal here. See Bluey taking some shots, but staying alive for now. You have to clear out this objective, taking a lot of shots. Again, Insurgents are very, very good at hiding in these little tough spots here, little nooks and crannies. That is the thing with Outskirts. Because these are broken buildings, it's very, very easy to cover yourself. It can be very difficult to spot. So without cover, you're pretty much on your own. This would be good use for smokes. And they call minigun a little early. But if you need to, you need to. End of the day, it is a more open objective, so it makes more sense to have him out there. Hear him eyes in the sky. Fire should be coming in just a few minutes here. Looking for a pick across. Not going to find that player. Leaves it close though. They are already RPGing the helicopter. They're coming in. Oh, and the helicopter is down. That did not last long. Just a nice cleric. As you can see here. Surgeon's doing a good job of holding off that objective here. Doesn't take much. The right shot in the right place can stop it dead in its tracks. So far, defender's doing a good job. We do have someone sneaking on, but Selfie gets picked pretty quick by Victor. They're trying to go for a sneaky B play there. Not going to be able to ninja him that easy. They're calling chemicals on B. Interesting choice. Now, security has a couple gas masks on them, but not everybody, I think, has that. So, it could be interesting. No, this objective being or the fire support being called on the B objective on the front makes sense. Again, this open area here is a great spot for it. As you can see, despite the kills coming in there, it's still working out very, very effective for them. It's a pretty good spot to call it. If you're going to try and push for this side. The other spot you could do is when you're alpha. However, they don't need to since they lost the objective. Not a bad spot, but let's see how effective it is. Security is pushing in, though. First chemical mortars coming out here. Also provides good coverage as well, although the top, unfortunate how it goes sometimes with the overall coverage. Looks like most people have run in their gas masks. They'll run straight through it. As you can see, good smoke as well. So working out well for the defenders so far. Attackers down to 3 waves already, so not quite working out in their favor. It was a fairly fast cap, though, for the attackers. Let's see how they decide to play this here. See ADHD enthusiast watching that angle there. There is a player, I'm guessing, right up there, or at least he thinks there is. But unfortunately for him, they don't exist. But that's a secret. They'll find out soon enough. Defenders are holding up this objective pretty well, though. They're pretty widespread back. They're not playing super close or playing close to the edge. They're just kind of giving the building, letting the building coverage at least doing what it does best, which is just being there, hanging out. Calling gunship as well on B. It's a little early to call. It's I would say early to call, but frankly, with how it's going right now after the attacking push, it makes sense to call it. The only thing is, oh, here come the drones. Where are they landing? Ooh! Unfortunate there for Victor. It ends up just bombing Radish, unfortunately. Security is also playing this objective, though. Here come the rockets. Oh! No one's hit by that one, but I'm sure it was very effective. Is that cannon? Oh, barely hit that. He almost kept that RPG shot. You can see him really trying to take this player out. Gunship putting in some hard work here. Security looking for that opening and trying to get in there. Lots of big kills coming in for that gunship. Flying around here, trying to find something lucky. Unfortunately for them, the gunship is in a really bad spot. Oh boy, look at all that fire coming at him. There it is. A lot of rounds coming down range, and there goes our gunship. One thing to note about competitive players and competitive push players especially, they know how to take down support very quickly. Yep, that's kind of how it goes. Once you know where to aim at and shoot at, you can take them down relatively quickly, but also requires good aim. So, not easy for everybody. We'll follow Bluey here, going for the push. They're beginning to cap on B, actually. They're down to only 1 wave remaining for attackers, so looking good for defenders. They're down to 14 waves, which is not a lot, but still got plenty of room to breathe. And there's the 0 wave. So now there's no respawns for the attackers, but it's not going to matter. They can get the B cap in. It took a little while, but they did really get it close, but they did get the objective capture in, which is what they needed to do. Did take a while to get there, but the key is they got there, and that's what matters. The defender's going to have to rotate now to Charlie. We can see security already taking out B objective, trying to clear up these last remaining players, and going for the push-up now. As long as they don't team kill each other, of course. As you'll notice, instead of B, now C being on the inside of this broken building, this is a really good spot for fire support. So any kind of upper artillery fire you can throw down here, very, very effective. If you can get it timed and positioned right, which is easier said than done. It takes some skill to hit a shot in this deep, but it is possible. Defenders are surrounding the objective. You see them security now trying to push around the attackers going in. And just sneaking around the side. There's a 1 defender there. There you go. You see Radish getting some work done, but Chime gets the kill pretty quick. Now you see that's going to be our main choke spot here. It's all going to be down to this one little room here. So the defender, they're trying to push this up and clear it up. The problem is, here's one. They stay alive. Oh, not for long. The Caster's Curse coming, of course. The Sword just watching for a push. They're mostly going to push from the building, and they're actually already in the C objective. They ran straight through, stayed on C, but the Sword is not clearing it out. The first kill. 2 more remaining by the side. Going for the spot out here. Staled currently. Surprisingly, only 1 attacker on the side here. Insurgents really slow out of the spawn here. It's going to give time for security to push through. Once they see that it's clear, they're going to opt to go push in. But because they're staled like that, they know there's at least 1 here. The problem is if Sword gets taken out, it's going to be a bad day. And unfortunately for Sword, he is so stuck on the side here, he's not going to see it until up top of here. They both right in there. It's actually a Gloop God there. Probably staying alive. Bad start. Zero trying to go for the shot here. Kills in on those attackers on Charlie. Here comes the spray, and no one hit, unfortunately, by that autocannon strafe. We managed to kill Charlie. Stop it for a moment, but Blood's back on. Getting that C cap in. See Blue now rotating out. AMC waiting. Everybody rotating around. C still being still, but you know what? Defenders, they stopped the push. Well done. Only 12 waves remaining for defenders, so plenty of room to breathe. Only 3 for attackers, so it's getting a little dicey here. They already lost their 2 main choppers. At this point, you just have smokes and you do have well, they don't have rocket barrages, but they do have some standard mortars they can throw down. So attackers aren't totally out of the options available to them. Not as much, of course, but you only get 2 major ones for the security side there. Let's see what they opt to do here. See Punisher capping the objective. The thing is, not a lot of defenders are alive left. Now it's just Gerbil World last alive, so attackers are pretty much locked down the round here. At least locked down this objective capture. Let's see what happens here on this next objective as they move on to Delta here. Have to cap pretty quick. Gerbil World, he's going to have to just wait. He's not going to be able to push in there. He would just pretty much die instantly anyway. So they lost the C objective. Now on to the Delta objective here for the push. You see Gerbil World to kind of hold the line here. Not a lot of coverage or cover, really. So it is very dangerous. A lot of dead bodies north spawn, so that's usually a bad sign. I think it's what happens when you have support choppers in a bad spot. It will just mow everybody down. You see Punisher here moving through, clearing out the old spawn area. Now I'm going to push towards that D objective. That is the building on the very, very top of the airway here. All the way deep inside here. Punisher moving through. Calling for a gun run, huh? Okay. Punisher trying to get some shots down range. Take down 1. Oh, unfortunately, Peter Griffin, they're just team killing a joint over rotating into the objective there. Not what they were looking for, but that's kind of how it goes with artillery sometimes. You don't get to choose where it hits. It ultimately just shoots whoever it hits. Although calling it kill confirmed on an enemy or on a teammate is a little bit that's an interesting choice. I don't know if they like that too much, but defenders are now trying to race up to Charlie, Delta, trying to hold off this objective as security is now pushed through. They're kind of baiting it by just having 1 player there in a smart way. They're forcing them to really have to think about it for a second. That 1 player kind of making defenders there a little bit shaky. He's staying alive for the moment here. You see him prone in the side here with that M249. Trying to clear that out. For lucky. There comes the cap up. Defender's got to make some moves. And Hall, we get the first kill on the Peter Griffin. But there's still more to clear. The problem is they're losing a lot of players already. It's a 5-9 here. They have room to breathe, but unfortunately for them, they're losing this objective fairly quickly. Defenders, there you go. ADC enthusiast taking down man in hallway. And as they clear out the D objective pretty quickly here, that's the objective captured down to your final objective. 0 waves left for defenders. Any defender now dying is not going to come back. It is do or die time. You fight to the death. Sanction's the first one to fall after the loss of waves. 5 remaining for attackers. Defenders now playing for their lives. They're getting kills, but unfortunately they cannot lose another life. Attackers doing a good job though. Capping this second one up pretty quick. See what they opt to do here. Nikolai just kind of running around doing whatever he wants to. That's that's push. All right, you can see some of the attackers there. A little bit of okay. Oh, Quattro is trying to find something lucky in Delta. Not going to, or in Echo, excuse me, not going to find much. Killdozer hanging out in bush. Interesting approach here. You see most of the defenders kind of spreading out a little bit, fairly wide. Attackers, there is one sneaking through here. Trying to find something lucky. We're good? We're good. Don't worry. No worries. That is Nikolai. If I can click on his button here. Oh, there we go. We're back. So Nikolai's trying to go for the stealthy E objective blow up here. If he does get this in, it will win the round. And win at least the... I'd say it wins the game, but we still got the other half to play, so it ain't over yet. However, Nikolai was spotted near Echo. You see one defender here. The problem is he going to be too close? Oh, yep. You will get it in time. Hold on. The other defender coming out, and he gets the kill. Now, if he makes it in time, he could try and blow this up. Should be, yep, there we go. Hold on a minute. It's about to be game over here in a second here. Nikolai getting the objective armed and ready to go. Set up, and one remaining defender. It's not going to matter. There is the objective blown up. And the first round going to Beanie Boys. Now, mind you, this is only the first round. There is a best of 3, of course. So, one round is just one round. But now, we swap sides. So now Beanie Boys capturing the first one pretty good all the way around. They struggled a bit in the first objective there on Alpha. They kind of had a bit of a hard point. Once they got into Bravo, they started to kind of get there, but it did definitely take a while to get their end result. And by Charlie, they had a good momentum. And by Delta especially, they just ran straight through and into Echo pretty quick. Good little sneaky spot there, got in the final kills. So well done to the Beanie Boys there for the first round win here. Of course, it depends on the timing of who ultimately wins this map. It is a best of 3, of course, so that means we're playing at least one more map. I believe that is Farmhouse Insurgents up next. But now swap sides. Don't pay attention to the colors, of course, on the player. They're going to be a little bit off. That is just sort of how Insurgency is. So don't mind that too much. But see Salty getting a nice grenade there on the Gripperworld, and my defenders aiming for a double approach up at the top here. Looking to spread it out well. Couple early kills for the attackers, but defenders doing a good job of holding off the line for now. Battle lines forming here. Outside of the objective, or outside of the main area of the objective, at least, there are some people sneaking around a little bit. See one on the very, very outskirts. Hanging way, you can see him hanging out here. Go for something a little sneaky. This can work well. The only problem is there is not a lot of coverage here. And a good defender, whoop, we see him right here, doing a good job of blocking that out, so if anybody tries something sneaky outside, not going to work too well for him. However, if we look at the objective here, defenders doing a great job of holding off the line here. Good overall upper control and support as they rotate and move around here. Defenders are starting to push in a little bit here. A couple kills here and there, but they still got to get a lot more done. The objective starting to capture just a little bit, but that should be decaptured fairly quickly. Team's starting to capture a little bit here. There we go. Big kills coming in here from the attackers. Most of the defenders down to just a few remaining players, so attackers doing a good job of gapping this one fairly quickly. However, as I say that, defenders are able to decap Alpha pretty fast, so that is kind of how it goes. Yeah, fully pain slaps. It's when pubs, yeah. If you only ever played 4v4s, then yeah. Unfortunately, pubs firefight was not bad, but it wasn't quite the competitive stuff that the private guys have been doing for a while. So we're always up for people though, and players. So if you want to play pugs, it's around here. I believe it's the Pug Lounge. So if you look at the Discord link for our channel here, you can see access to that one. If you want to play, of course, if you want to watch, it's cool too. But in any case, back to the action here. It looks like Alpha is doing a pretty good job. Well, I say Alpha. Defenders doing a good job of blocking off this initial wave here as security tried to clear it up. Got some initial kills on the building on the outside here. But unfortunately, when it comes to this broken building here, defenders doing a good job keeping it together. Good chemical mortar call. Interesting to make it this early. If it's in the right spot, it can be very effective. Maybe on the outside here. The thing is, this building is super, super devastating for your chances of chemical mortars and most support for that matter. Most artillery support and even fire support. Those buildings pretty much negate a lot of the potential damage. So if it's called in the right spot, very effective. Otherwise, kind of mixed. Not a bad deployment, a little bit high. Again, it kind of depends on where it lands. Like, that's a great one right there. The question is, can you keep it going? And that's also a great call. The problem is these players need to have gas masks on or else it's going to be a bad time. You can see them already coughing. This player's not going to live for much longer here. Attackers are running in. Well, it looks like most of them do have their masks on instead, so they will be staying alive for the moment here. Good mollies as well coming from the defenders here, from the backside. You see them really holding off that push well. Attackers are trying to get in there. They're getting that smoke, that chemical mortars, and of course, the good smoke and chemical mortars doing a good job of locking down the attacking push here. You see one player with the RPG there trying to sneak through, getting the cap started, just having it stalemated. Pulling for minigun early on alpha, not a great sign, but you know what? If you need it, sometimes you need it. Definitely taking a while to get there. So we will see how they play this out. There's the respawn wave for the defenders coming in. Attackers need to get moving. See one kill from Victor there. They need to push a little faster. Oh, and there is the vehicle blown up there on the alpha side. We're already down to 0 waste for attackers. However, they are on alpha, capping it up well. This is looking good. And the minigun support here, this could be very, very effective. Get the chopper coming in here on our right-hand side. There they are. Lots of rounds coming down their range, but they are still alive for the moment, which is not going to be good for the defenders. There's the alpha objective captured. Well done. But now you've got Bravo to worry about. Only 5 waves, but they made it in time to capture. There's somebody throwing a smoke there. Very good spot as well, although, oh! Former chopper now on the ground. Right there. Rest in peace. That is how the support choppers usually go, especially in the competitive side of push. It is not long lasting. Very effective if you can get it right, but most players are very, very fast to blowing them up quick. And security as well, you can see them pushing very quickly into this B objective here. Doing a good job holding off the push here. And trying to fight this out here, Giro with his teammate. That the objective is captured. Don't shoot your teammate, buddy. So I'm doing a little bit of free fire in there. Fast, very, very fast capture here of the B objective. Looking out well for him. This is going to help the momentum flow. The only problem is C objective is going to be a lot harder because they're going to be pushed up so far. There it is, the cap for B very, very quickly. This is looking good for, I believe, the Beanie Boys. Cap it up. Okay. I think I might have the scores wrong. But in any case. Alright. Let's see what happens here. We'll follow Killdozer as he runs towards that C objective fairly quickly. Attackers keeping the good momentum rolling. The only thing is defenders are going to be pretty well entrenched in Charlie because of that. Since they lost that B objective and weren't pushing for it, they're going to try and just nail and stop. Let's see if they can. See some mortars coming in for that C objective as well. It is flashing, but they are stale. They're going to have a lot of defenders in the position, so they're going to have a lot of work to do for attackers. Oh, Punisher, bro. I got to call that out. It's going to leave a mark in the morning. Follow Nikolai. Coming on the outside here. Mortars coming in. Staying alive for the moment. They also have an RPG. Very interesting. They called a lot of mortars. Interesting call by the defenders here. Makes sense though, although they are losing a lot of that C objective. So defenders are kind of on the run here. Only one remaining defender on the C objective. Looks like they're doing a good job. One by one, just kind of knocking them down. Clearing out sides, and ultimately, they will take that C objective. Unless defenders can get there in time, you can see them trying to run over there. Trying to get into position. Shots coming in, but ultimately security. Pretty well held control of Charlie. The question is, can they hold on from the defenders? Staying alive. One defender here, holding on for dear life here. This is their main insurance policy for Insurgents. If this player falls, it's going to be the objective going to security. See Bled just hanging out there. Defenders are capping the lower section of it, clearing it out. And there's the respawn wave for defenders. They're calling it the gunship on Charlie. Again, this is what happened last time. I think it was on Bravo. They had a huge wave. Here come the rockets. Oh! Unfortunately, nobody hit by that one. But the gunship is in position. You can get at least one kill on that one. You can see rockets coming towards that gunship. Another kill as well. Gunship doing a lot of work. Whoop, taking fire. Just staying alive for the moment. And there's the C capture as defenders are trying to stay alive from that chopper. Get another kill. And they're out of there. They had enough of the fight. Oh, it says it's leaving, but I still see it hanging out here. Unless they're crashing. Nope, they had enough. They had enough of the smoke. So that was a pretty good objective call there for support. Gunships, they're a little bit mixed sometimes. They can work out well, but if you get the timing right, they are very effective. While that was all happening, security did push up and now is going for that D objective. Going for the Delta. Defenders are holding off on that left side from our point of view, right for the attackers. So far holding it well, but you still have plenty to clear it out. 12 to 14 waves, so relatively even in wave count. It's going to be all about staying alive and just timing it correctly. So as long as you don't die too quickly, it should be fairly effective. Attackers are a little bit on the run here. Only 2 remaining. 1 objective flashing already on Delta. Somebody's sneaking into Delta here. Trying to find this player. They are still alive. Not for long, though. And there it is. Stealthy player falling down, taking a nap. With that being said, the attackers are now back in the objective here, getting dangerously close to the D. Getting on the sides here. They have pushed up well. The question is, can they move around? If there's a private one, if you're wondering. This is a private event, so won't be open to everybody just yet, but you can sign up for future ones if you join the Discord there. Link in the description, of course. But in any case, we do see the stack up here on Delta. Moving through. 1 player on D. We're getting the kill on the Peter Griffin there. Taking down Peter. We do see Insurgents holding on for the moment here, but there is 1 player having flashing. Although it may not be for long, as we see, oh, the trade on the side there. Nice flick from a droid. Shit! I guess you could call it a flick. You see him holding off for now. They're waiting for the their teammates to respawn. There is the respawn wave for defenders by the attackers. They just have to clear out this objective quickly if they're going to try and get this in there. The problem is they're running out of time. A droid staying alive here on the stairs, surrounded by everybody. Nobody pushing a droid. They will allow for the defenders to come in and hopefully save his buddy here on Delta. But right now, there's one. There it is. There's his teammates coming in. And there is Delta staying alive for a little longer. A droid putting in the work. Autocannon strafes does not hit anybody. Oh, there's the kill from the backside here. Sneaking through, but that player is kicking down just as quickly. We see all through all the madness, still, we have a droid alive. Oh, I say, but I think they may have passed on. Oh, of course. Very nice. Unfortunately, they didn't pass away. At least in game. With that being said, back to the action that matters. On Delta, it is now cleared. Security having a bit of a hard time with Delta there. Droid really keeping it alive for their team. If they had passed away, that probably would have been the round going to security, but it's not going to be that easy. And there's your mortar strike. Not getting a whole lot done. Again, objectives, unfortunately, support being called on buildings, just not very effective. The right place at the right time can be effective. However, not as easy. It's easier said than done, of course. Attackers here trying to push up here. Getting a little bit of luck in the top side from this building on the center here of our screen. Pushing through here and pushing into the D objective. However, Charo double nade onto D is good, but they've got more work to do. 1, trying to clear out the side here. See them running through here. Looking through the window. That is on the upper half of the Delta objective. Not within the capture area, but still in the objective nonetheless. At least in that building. We see them, a lot of the grenades coming out from Insurgents now to try and hold off the push. 7 waves remaining for attackers, so they have room to breathe, but not much. Not much at all. So on Victor here. Moving around the sides here. Looking for something lucky. Insurgents going to hold off and just keep on Delta for now. Draining down security 1 by 1. Looks like Goose in a good spot here. Again, once security respawns, they're not going to be ready for him in this spot. This is a very, very good spawn camping position here. As we see man in hallway. Try and click on the side here. Going to go for the D play here. Sneaking around. This is a 13D14, so someone did drop. Makes it a little tougher. And the hallway still undetected. Sneaking through here. He's going to be spotted. Nope. Oh, he gets the kill on Smoking Darts. They're going to call out his position, though. So he will be called out. The player out in the open did not see man in hallway. He's going to run into the D objective here. Going for the scale. Goes for the wallbang approach. Danger close. He is going to go for the hip fire, but Bluey will get that kill instead onto D, clearing it out. If only he had his gun up, might have won that one. But that is sometimes how it goes when you switch optics. Switch out of that 2 times magnifier. Sometimes you get caught in the crossfire. Or at least caught with your mid-change. That's how it goes. But following ADHD enthusiast holding the line here. In a bit of an interesting spot in the back here. Most of the defenders here just kind of holding off for now. They've got good control. 5 waves remaining for the attackers, so they have a little bit of room. But they call bomber drones from the defenders on the attacking side here. See where they opt to drop it. Follow the top side here. You can hear them coming in. Let's see where they call it. Uh-oh. Attackers are coming in. Where is it landing, folks? Place your bets. Oh, nice. Double kill for the defenders there. Perfect call. A little bit late on the delivery, but that is sometimes how it goes. Traffic, you know, it gets a little busy sometimes. But still delivers nonetheless. Defenders doing a really, really good job of just holding the line here one by one. They're spread themselves out very, very effectively. We can get our side here. Let's see if we can. We cannot pan. Nice. Okay. Don't mind me. Trying to show things here. But yeah, they're spread really well across this D objective. Not on the inside of it, but actually on the outer edge of it. And as they push through, it allows for security to try to clear it out. And ultimately, as they go to push in there, holds off the objective. So if you're used to seeing competitive firefight on outskirts, this is going to be the map you play it on normally. So they'll usually security spawns back over here. Well, actually, no, they spawn back here. And then they run through. Yep. I've played this map before. I've only seen it a couple dozen times. But yeah, security is doing their best. They're trying to clear it out here, but only 3 remaining on the upper push. 1 on the outside edge. That could be effective. However, with the way that defenders have ratted themselves out in this D objective, it looks like this is going to be a pretty good win here for potentially the Beanie Boys, if that is correct. Although the teams being a little bit mixed, it makes it a bit of a challenge. We see defenders, though, holding off on D pretty well. No comment on that. But defenders down another wave, but that's plenty fine. The only 2 remaining for the attackers here. So attackers, they need to either get lucky or do what they need to do to win. But right now, it's looking tough for their chances. See if we can get in here and click on this player here. Nope. That is Gaster's Curse coming in, getting noob tube there. They're out in the middle of the open, doing whatever he's doing. It's always a mystery where these players are going to opt to rotate and play at. Again, there's a lot of different ways you can flank in Sandstorm compared to in the older games I've been seeing. We'll see what they want to play. It's following a chime here now, holding off the objective. Salty just doing some maneuvering, perhaps. Gets a big flank in there. Nice kill onto 2 players. Only 1 remaining security wave, and only 1 remaining player alive. And that is 0 waves for the attackers. Defenders now have no restrictions on where they can go. They can play wherever they want to. Oh, Killdozer and Moo, though, getting some work done, but still, any defender or any attacker that dies like Moo now will not respawn until the objective is captured. So it is dwindling for the chances. They really have to work together now. There's no more room for doing your own thing or going solo or memeing around. It's you either win it now or you are out. So they try taking the standard push to this side here. You can see them now rotating up on the upper side here. They are going to go for that one more time and see if they can get lucky. However, defenders are in a good spot to counter it. You see them pushed a little bit further back into this area over here. You see them trying to clear this out here. Killdozer on the outside flanking as well. We see defenders doing what they do best. Basically camping and waiting for attackers to push through. Trying to clear this out here. They're going to go for more of a left approach right for the defenders. Getting restricted areas, classic. Yeah, it's a little silly how you can't quite push around that much. But unfortunately for them, they are going to get caught on the outside there. That edge not being effective. Oh, nice sprayed out with that H21. Only 1 remaining attack, and that's Banana Boy. Coming in big. Gets the kill onto 2 there. Salty and Peter Griffin. Now, mind you, only 6 waves. Surely, Banana Boy can do it. Gets the kill onto Blue Buoy. Going for the reload. Respawn wave capping in a little bit here, so they are running out of time. There's the respawn wave. Gets the kill onto Quattros, but Bled ultimately will take down Banana Boy. GG's, well played. First round, ultimately going to Salty. Actually, spread some salt. Make sure that is correct. Alrighty, I believe that is correct. Although it may not be quite right. I will get confirmation on that one. But in any case, as we move to the next round here. Yeah, Beanie, that was Salty. Okay, so that was Salty. Okay, so apologies, folks. Believe that is our current score. So the way it'll work, since Spread Some Salt did win that round,